Hey everyone, and welcome back to FSI DFS. I am McKinley412, and today we're going to be breaking down the Tuesday night 12-game slate on Draftkings. We got a lot of very interesting pitching options up at the top, and not so much in the value range of pitcher this slate as we've had in the past couple slates. Weather-wise, we're looking pretty good. There's no concerns in really any of the games. If there was one concern, maybe you could go to St. Louis having a little bit, but I think the rain's going to be out of there before first pitch. If anything, it's going to be a delay, but nothing more than that. But as always, make sure you're checking the weather throughout the day, just in case anything does change. Make sure you're paying attention to the COVID-related news as well. You never really know when a game might get postponed, even after lock of the slate. Make sure you're paying attention even after the slate locks, so that maybe one of those West Coast games doesn't get postponed and you get stuck with one of their guys. So let's just look right in the pitchers here. Right up at the top, we have Jake Degram. Now, Degram is putting up video game numbers so far to start the season. He has a 48% strikeout rate. 48%. It's just unbelievable what he's been able to do. And now he's going up against the St. Louis team who, while they don't strike out too often, they have been known to kind of throw up a dud of an offensive game. At the time of this recording right now, they've played 28 games, and in 13 of those, they've scored 3 or fewer runs. And we know that DeGrom is either going to be letting up 0 or 1 in his start. So I think even at his hefty price tag, you just need to find a way to jam him into your cash lineups. The other guy who's right below him at 10-7 is Bauer. He's going up against the Cubs, who do strike out more than the Cardinals do. However, it's marginal. It's marginal here. Bauer's got a 34% K rate so far to start this season, so still fantastic numbers. But when you got DeGrom just 400 above him, I think you're going to have to find DeGrom, especially in your cash lines. I expect DeGrom's ownership to be higher. If I had to choose between the two of them, I would 100% be going with DeGrom over Bauer. And it's going to be really, really tough to get both DeGrom and Bauer into your lineups and like your line. If you put DeGrom and Bauer in, you're looking at an average salary remaining of around 3.5. So it's pretty ugly here once you do get these top two pitchers in. Right below them, Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola is probably not going to be seeing any ownership at all. He's a GPP flyer at the most here. We know what his ceiling is, just with his strikeout potential. But at the same time, he just hasn't really put it together this season. He had one phenomenal start where he put up like 48 DK points. But other than that, in his 4 other starts, he scored 18 or fewer points. So 18 or fewer points in 4 of your 5 starts just is not going to cut the 10.4 price tag for me. Greinke going up against the Yankees. I have no interest in either format. J.A. Happ. Happ is having the best start to his 15-year career right now. His numbers are better than they've ever been. I think it's a fluke. He's not that great of a pitcher. He's going against Texas. I like to target the pitchers against Texas just because of how much they do strike out. But his strikeout rate this season is 14%. Not 14. That's it. So he's not striking anybody out. Obviously, it's going to go up a little bit facing Texas. But I just don't have any interest there either. And you're going to kind of see as we go through, there's just not a lot of value pitcher on the slate that you get too excited about. For Atlanta, he's a strikeout pitcher here. I think he's up at like a 30-something or so strikeout rate to start the season. He was a strikeout machine in the spring as well. He's got 2 games already of 10 strikeouts and 9 strikeouts. He did get lit up by the Cubs in that one game where the Chicago finally figured out their offense. But other than that, he's been phenomenal. So now he's going up against Washington. They don't strike out a lot, but they're also not going to put up 13 runs on you. I hope not, anyways, because that would kind of defeat the purpose here. But I don't think he's going to be putting up the 29 or the 30-point game here. But if he can get me 20 to 25 points at 8.2K, especially with his K upside, he could be a guy that you could plug in there with Degram or with Bauer. Weather's right below him. Weather's been doing fantastic this season, but I don't know how much I believe it. There's not much data to go on him, as you know, this is his first start in or first season in the bigs. He's going up against a weaker offense here in Pittsburgh. I think he's pitched like 12 or 13 innings so far, or 16 innings, I guess. In those 16 innings, he's only let up one home run. It was a solo home run, and that's the only run he's let up all season long. So, opposing batters are hitting 0.80 against him. His sub-1 ERA, he's looking phenomenal. But if you take a deeper dive, he's getting some serious luck with his batted balls. I think batted ball into play, batters are only hitting like 0.82 or something like that against him. So he's clearly due for some regression there. And it's got the day-to-day here. I don't know exactly what San Diego's doing. There's a thing with Lamet going on. So make sure you're paying attention to that. Pivetta, I wouldn't normally be on Pivetta, but he is going against Detroit. And so I think he makes a fine play. He's probably going to be in line for the win tomorrow. So there's some extra bonus points for you. And he's had two phenomenal starts in his past two here. Just one hit in each of them. He only had 2 hits against in his opening start of the season. So he's performing well. The strikeouts aren't really there, not as high as we'd like them to be. But like I said, he is going up against Detroit. So the Ks do go up, but he also does have a serious walk issue. You can see he's got 3 or more walks in every single start here. So it is slightly concerning, but Detroit doesn't walk a lot. I think they're like a bottom 10 team in walks. So Pivetta, I think he's a fine choice, especially if you're looking for some salary savings, because it's going to be tight on this slate, especially when you got the 2 stud pitchers this high. German, no. Dunn. Dunn's had no, I'm not even going to go there. Alzolay, no. Irvin's got some strikeout potential, but he's going against Toronto. And those Toronto bats can be scary. So not really too interested in him either. And you just kind of go down the line here, and it's just kind of like you just shake your head at each one that goes by. Gibson and Minor, they've both had starts to the season that are solid. Minor's going up against Cleveland, a weaker-ish offense, or an offense that can really throw up a dud. They did well tonight, though. Gibson, he's had a fine start to the season as well. Going up against Minnesota, who can be a scary team to pitch against. But he's performed well. Let's see, check out his logs here. Yeah, so he's doing fine. He's not allowing the long ball. He's only got 1 earned run or fewer in all 5 starts here. So things are going well for him. But again, like I said, against Minnesota, it's kind of scary. I'm not sure I can trust him in cash games. But yeah, and then everybody else down the list, just kind of, it's ugly. It's ugly. So really what you're looking at is Degram, Bauer, obviously. Make sure you're checking out what's going on with Weathers, Pivetta, and then Gibson or Minor. Outside of those guys, I don't really have any interest in any of the other pitchers, apart from like a large field GPP. All right, so let's look to the hitters here. Like I said, salary is going to be seriously tight today, and you're going to have to find value somewhere, especially if you are trying to jam in these 2 studs of Degram and Bauer. If salary wasn't an issue, I think my favorite bats on the day would be Kansas City. And in all honesty, Kansas City isn't that expensive. They are 5'2", and 5K for like their 3 main batters. But after them, you got 6 other batters in your line and they're all 3-4 or lower. 3-4, 3-3. Benintendi's 3K. Taylor, who's done well recently, is only 2-8. So they do have some cheap bats in their line. They're going up against Henches. I don't even know how to pronounce that correctly. But he's had 3 home runs against in just 5 innings pitched so far. That's really all the data we have to go on him. He didn't pitch at all last year. He was in the minors and they canceled their season. He was in Double-A ball before that in 2019, and he had some serious walk issues. I'm not going to pretend that I was paying attention to this guy in Double-A ball, but if you just go back and look at his minor league stats, he has some serious walk issues. So if Kansas City can get on base, we know there's stolen base upside, and they also have the power to go along with it. So I think Kansas City is going to be your top option with the bats, and they do give you some value as well. On the other side of that game, just to kind of give you guys some value plays here, you guys know who the strong bats are at this point, but just kind of some value plays. On the other side of that match, Cleveland, how good do you think Mike Minor really is? He's had a solid start to the season so far. Cleveland's got 2 guys priced above 4K. So say you fade Jose Ramirez, and you just kind of do a stack of these guys in the 3K range. It should be easy to fit there. And you could fit it in with Degram and Bauer possibly, if you find some other bats possibly. So Cleveland could be possibly one, depends how you feel about Mike Minor. Milwaukee, another very cheap team so far. You got Yelich at 4-4, Wong at 4-1, and then everybody else is mid 3K or below. They're going up against Nola, I know. But like I said, Nola just seems a little bit off this season. Something's going on. I don't know what. But Nola does seem a little bit off. Like I said, he's only had 1 start so far this season above 18 DK points in his 5 starts. So if you really need some salary relief, you could look to Milwaukee there. And the final kind of value team that you could throw out there if you really want to jam in the 2 studs here is Texas. Texas is going up against Happ. And I mentioned earlier, Happ is pitching the best that he's pitched in his 15-year career so far, based on the stats, based on like hits allowed, walks allowed, home runs, all those sorts of things. The strikeouts are not there, and that's huge. The strikeouts are not there, and that's kind of Texas's weak point is the strikeout. But if they're able to make contact, they're a decent hitting team. And if you look below Solak and Kiner Falefa, they got some solid value in their bats here. So Trevino 3-6, Garcia 3-5, Joey Gallo at 3-5, Willie Calhoun, lefty against lefty. Not too excited about that, but he's been doing fantastic so far and lately, and he's only 3-1. So the value is there, but salary is definitely going to be tight this slate. So just to kind of recap everything, I don't think there's any weather issues that we need to be worried about. But pitching wise, you're picking one of the 2 studs in cash, at least one of the 2, possibly both, but your bats get real tough to squeeze in there and actually like your lineup after it. But other than Degram and Bauer, I'm going to be looking at Nola, Pivetta, and then Gibson or Minor. Like really, those are the only guys that are kind of on my radar for my lines on Tuesday. Everybody else is just kind of around there. Nothing I'm writing home about or getting too excited about. Batters, I love KC. I think they're gonna do very well against Cleveland and the Cleveland bullpen. And if you really want to look for some value, look towards Milwaukee, look towards Texas, and look towards possibly Cleveland, depending on how you think Mike Minor is. But I would lean Texas or Milwaukee over them. So as always, good luck in your contest tonight, and drop a comment below what you like, what you don't like. We appreciate all the feedback that you guys do give us, and we hope to see you guys in our Discord soon. We have lots of free rooms, but we also, the MLB room is a premium room where we provide cores for each of the main slates and all the showdowns as well, tiers included. And we're just answering any questions that you guys might have for the slates. So good luck in your contest tonight, and we'll see you in the next video.